Okay, I guess it is time for a bedtime story. My friend got me this book, and I've been blogging about it almost every day, because it's not a book that I would have chosen, nor would have encountered otherwise. It's a collection of short stories, and I found a very short one to share with you. It's by George Louis Borges. It's called The Aleph and Other Stories. So, let's go to the one that I have for tonight. It's called The Two Kings and Their Two Labyrinths. This is a story which Reverend Albert Alabi tells from the pulpit. Ibn Hakan al-Bukhari, dead in his labyrinth. Chronicles worthy of the trust have recorded, but only Allah is all-knowing, that in former times there was a king of the Isles of Babylon, who called together his architects and his wizards, and set them to build him a labyrinth so intricate that no wise man would dare enter inside, and so subtle that those who did would lose their way. The undertaking was a blasphemy, for confusion and marvels belong to God alone, and not to man. With the passage of time, there came to his court a king of the Arabs, and the king of Babylon, wishing to mock his guest's simplicity, allowed him to set foot in his labyrinth, where he wandered in humiliation and bewilderment until the coming of night. It was then that the second king implored the help of God, and soon after came upon the door. He suffered his lips to utter no complaint, but he told the king of Babylon that he too had a labyrinth in his land, and that, God willing, he would one day take pleasure in showing it to his host. He then returned to Arabia, gathered his captains and his armies, and overran the realms of Babylon with so fair a fortune that he ravaged its castles, broke its people, and took captive the king himself. He then bound him onto a swift camel and brought him into the desert. 3 days they rode, and then the captor said, "O king of time and crown of the century, in Babylon you lured me into a labyrinth of brass, cluttered with many stairways, doors, and walls. Now the Almighty has brought it to pass that I show you mine, which has no stairways to climb, no doors to force, nor unending galleries to wear one down, no walls to block one's way." He then loosened the bonds of the first king and left him to the heart of the desert to die of thirst and hunger. Glory be to the living, who dieth not. Very short tale. Good night.